Hello, welcome friends and family. Welcome to Bigredleads. I am Big Red. I'm here to talk to you today about knowing yourself to design your life. Um, Understand that as we build, as you're building and designing your life, the first thing that you need to know is you. The first thing you need to know is you. And I've had clients in the past, like who simply just didn't know who they were, know where their strong suits were, know where your weaknesses are. Knowing yourself makes it that much easier to design your life. Because not knowing and designing something that you can't timestamp so that you can actually see your improvement and see where you're falling off, that is a dangerous place to be in this sense. You can develop bad habits that will actually end up imploding as far as your actual design. Now, when I first started in sales, I didn't know what a routine was. I didn't know what a sales schedule was. I just freestyled it. And when I say freestyled it, I didn't follow the sales scripts that I was given. I I basically was just kind of wandering through the space and telling myself that I was working. Needless to say, after about 3 or 4 weeks of decent sales the first week, second week, a little bit of struggle, third week, maybe one sale, by the fourth week, I was kind of wandering around just in a space of like disbelief. Like, like, what am I doing? I'm smart. I know I know my material. I have an understanding. Without knowing myself fully and understanding that the more activity that I engaged in, the better I would become. Well, as sales started to dwindle, time went on, I slowly declined in my activity. My activity became a little less, a little less, a little less going out, a little less, like making fewer calls, not popping into businesses like I should, to the point where I had to really come to grips with what I am great at. Interacting with people is one of my strong suits. It's the part of my purpose. It's a small part of my purpose. But understanding that if I'm not pushing myself and I'm out here pushing something to the public and I'm not willing to step into those realms because I'm essentially scared or fearful, I did not have the ability to discipline myself, at least I thought at that time. So what I'm simply getting at with this discussion today is once you know that this is something, an area of yourself, a characteristic, a trait, um, something that's within you that you are lacking of in the space. Understand you are enough. That what I spoke about being enough on a previous video. But once you really understand that you are enough and knowing who you are, what you stand for, what you are willing to have a conversation about, what you are morally responsible for, what you are ethically responsible for, and knowing that you are a capable being of doing great things, massive things, and putting that energy towards becoming better, improving, and continuing to move forward and strive for perfection, if you will. Once you add discipline to each one of these activities and traits that you engage in, once you are able to do that, there is no force in this universe that will block you. Actually, the universe will pave the way for you. Some people say God, some people say universe. It will pave the way for you if you are willing to engage in that knowing, like, I am here to provide for this family. I'm here to protect this family. I am here providing a service, a product. Now, what that can it could stem to a lot of different other things. Like I'm a father, I'm a mentor, I'm a protector, I'm a provider, I am a comforter. I'm a lot of things. But what I am not fearful once I know. It's a lot of things that get tied up in, well, I'm jumping into a new career path. I hear this with people that just over the years, I'm jumping into this new job. I don't have any experience in it, and you're nervous. There's a sense of nervousness. There's a sense of fear because you don't know what you don't know. Anything that you are scared to death of, study it. Simply study it. Once you realize and know every aspect of it, of course experience is going to help, but you'll get the experience if you study it. Study whatever it is that you are afraid of doing. Once you've studied it, the fear dissipates. It's gone. Like, I know people who have a fear of snakes. Look up snakes. Pull up YouTube videos. Watch some old National Geographic on snakes. Like spiders. That's a big one. People are scared to death of spiders. Understand anything that you are scared of. Conversations. Having a conversations. I'm pretty sure if I was to go look on YouTube right now, there's probably 1,000 videos on starting a conversation. Understand that if you study anything that you are afraid of, that fear has no place in your system, in your being, in your enough. Then you can simply take it head on and move forward. So this message today is simply understand whatever it is. Doesn't matter what it is. You're afraid of being honest with your girlfriend or your boyfriend about something that maybe a habit that they have. Understand you have to be a big boy, big girl, sit down and have that conversation. Study it from an aspect of how do people handle conflict? How do people handle being vulnerable in a space with someone? Like, vulnerability is something that it's a fearful thing. Being insecure as to who you are in the relationship that you engage in. Being insecure in the position that you hold. The job that you work. The work that you do. All these things are aspect of knowing. Something that has gone around in our community for a long time is, if you know better, you do better. Well, there's so much truth in that small little affirmation and statement that it scares most people off because they simply just look at it as like, well, yeah, I know better, but if I do that, they're opening themselves up to be vulnerable. Here's the thing. What do you have to be afraid of once you know the good, the bad, the negative, the positive, whatever the outcome might be or could be? Here's the thing. If you don't try, if you don't put any effort towards it, you know what your answer is going to be. That's the same as that's another aspect of sales. Sales is everything. I speak of sales a lot because that's what I do. Now, saying that, if you don't go knock on this door and you are a sales professional and you know that you need to knock on 10 doors a day, if you don't do this, you don't eat. And you know the answer, so why bother? You know what you're going to say if you're prepared. Being prepared and being studied up in this sense, always be a student. You don't know everything. And anybody who claims that they know everything about one subject, okay, there's levels to the mastery, yes. But at the same time, if you're not a constant student, you become complacent. Anything that is not willing to go through conflict of ideology, knowledge, research, just the habits and the things, the both sides of the coin, whether it be positive or negative, in an experience, if you're not willing to go through all that to get a better understanding of your knowing of a subject, or in this case, you will not be able to simply just sit down and design your life. You will not be able to be in a committed relationship with anyone, because you're lying to yourself. You're lying to yourself in the sense of you are not telling the truth. So what is going to happen to you when someone else engages with you in this facade, this actor who's showing up and not being truthful with themselves? How can you plan a future a year down the road, 2 years down the road, 5 years down the road, if you haven't mastered the person that's within you? Take full accountability for it and simply wake up, write it out, figure out what's wrong, figure out what you can do better, what you can improve on. How can I improve this for this individual? How can I improve this for this family? How can I be better? How can I be a better person? How can I be a better human being? How can I treat this person with compassion and understanding, and yet still ask for their best effort? Effort, attitude, and being able to understand that you are a student at all times will open up the floodgate for more for you. Whether that be material, whether that be the intangibles. We're talking about being and having integrity in everything that you do, because you've studied it, and there's no fear in the space when you look at it from a third lens, another eye, someone else engaging with you, being open, being vulnerable, and mastering and really getting this down to the point where you can teach and show others there's another way. Perspective is one thing, truth is another, and being honest are all on the same plane, but they come from 3 different viewpoints. There's that person's truth, your truth, and the truth. A lot of times miscommunication is simply an insecurity or a fear that steps into space, and no one wants to deal with it. Are you willing to deal with who you are and what you're insecure about? Are you willing to step down, step back, study it, get a better understanding, and remove the fear from your space so that you can become the best version of you? Are you willing to do that? If you are not, that's another conversation for another day. But if you are not, you're not ready to engage in this activity. I'm saying simply, if you really want what's best for you, you need to be the best version of you. Give your best. Just because it's your best doesn't mean it's your best. You can still get better. You can still improve. You can still master something that will benefit you, your life, and the life of those who are surround and love you. Like I said, I hope this message helps today. Understand that mastering you is the priority to designing your life. You can't design the car without knowing the engine. It's not going anywhere without it. What's feeding you? Like I said, love you all. Hope this helps. If you understand, like the comments, comment on the page, comment on the Facebook. Like I said, this is Bigredleads. Hope this message helps. Talk to you all soon.